Good morning, ladies, and thank you for joining us today in Far Above Rubies. If no one has told you lately, you are loved and you are cherished, you are valuable, and your price is far above rubies. We come together each day in this group to grow together and be reminded of our worth. Today we're diving into Proverbs chapter 25, and I'm focusing on verses 21 and 22. They read, "If your enemies are hungry, give them food to eat. If your enemies are thirsty, give them water to drink. You will heap burning coals of shame upon their head, and the Lord will reward you." It's easy, ladies, to love our babies, to love our husbands, our families, our friends, our church family, and for a mature Christian woman, it's even usually pretty easy to love a stranger. But we shy away from passages of scripture like this one because we want to decide who deserves love. We want to measure everyone we come in contact with against our standards and see how they stack up before we dole out the love of Jesus. If we're honest, we know good and well that those who hurt us, mistreat us, aren't kind to us, those who gossip about us, those who even persecute us, we don't show them the same kind of love that we show our families, that we show our church families and our friends. We don't bake them little sweet goodies, and we don't offer to babysit their children. We say, "Oh, I love them. I hope they go to heaven. I don't wish them anything bad." But is that Jesus' definition of loving someone? You're all pretty familiar with 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 7, so I'm just going to skim over it. But let's see how our loving those who we're at odds with stack up against this scripture. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is not jealous, boastful, proud, or rude. Love does not demand its own way. It is not irritable. It does not keep record of wrongdoing. You know, I know one of these devotionals is doing well. It's a good devotional when I'm stepping on my own toes with it. Okay? I don't know about you, but for me, my love for those I'm at odds with doesn't always measure up to this scripture. This doesn't mean that we don't have boundaries in our life. Jesus didn't ask us or call us to be doormats or to be abused in relationships. But those who are going to be in our lives, one way or another, they deserve the love of Jesus just as much as your family, just as much as your babies. And you are called to love them, to actively love them, not just wish them well, but to actively love a person you don't like. Maybe it's a boss or an extended family member that you struggle with. Maybe it's someone you go to church with and you two just don't see eye to eye. Matthew chapter 5, Jesus tells us, love your enemies, love them, and pray for those who persecute you. When's the last time you prayed something other than, "Lord, you better deal with them," for someone who persecutes you? When's the last time you prayed, "God bless them, God bless their family, bless their finances, show them the way to you, oh God"? When's the last time you got on your knees and you interceded for someone you don't like? Jesus continues to say, if you love only those who love you, what reward do you have? Because even sinners, even those who don't know God, do the same. We should be different. We should be different. We don't get to pick and choose who deserves the love of Jesus. We don't get to hold back God's compassion and His grace from someone because we don't like them. No one is undeserving of God's grace. No one. If you have God's grace, if I have God's grace, no one is undeserving of God's grace. How can you talk to them about Jesus if you can't even love them? Your challenges today are to read Proverbs chapter 25 and share something below that spoke to you, that stood out to you. We are encouraging one another and uplifting one another. Secondly, pray and ask God to help you see people the way that He sees people. It becomes so much easier to love people when we see what God sees in them. And third, and this is the hard one, I want you to go out of your way this week to actively love somebody you don't like. That's a hard one. It's going to be hard for me, but go out of your way this week to actively love someone you don't like. Okay, my family's still on the road traveling. That's why you guys get all of this fun, pretty hot mess. But please keep us in your prayers for safe travels. We're enjoying a family trip for the first time. And I love you all. Hope you are blessed by today's devotional, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.